Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending on where you are in the world tuning in. Thank you so much for joining. This is the Unboxing AI webinar series by CARPL. This is episode number 7, I believe. So I have managed to pull this off for at least 7 weeks. So thank you to the team that makes this happen. For those of you who do not know, CARPL is now FDA cleared. I make it a point to say it every time, but an FDA cleared enterprise imaging AI platform. We are the world's largest AI marketplace in terms of number of AI applications for radiology. We are a single user interface, a single data channel, and a single procurement channel for hospitals, radiology centers, imaging centers to access, assess, and then integrate any kind of AI into their clinical practice. So today we are joined by our dear friend and I would say almost partner in crime, Dr. Gilberto Szarf. Gilberto, thank you so much for joining today. For those of you who do not know Gilberto, Gilberto is a cardiothoracic radiologist. He's also a manager, a medical manager. I got that off your LinkedIn, Gilberto. And at the Albert Einstein Hospital in Sao Paulo, and has been, a guide for CARPL in the form of a user, in the form of a customer for a couple of years now. And it's an absolute pleasure and honor, Gilberto, for us to have you here today. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you very much, Vidur, for inviting me. It's an honor for me to work with you. And CARPL, what CARPL has done for us, it was great. It allowed us, it gave us access to a new world of AI, which was not present before we started working together. So thanks a lot for inviting me, and thanks a lot for working with us for all those years.
Well, that is extremely humbling to hear, Gilberto, honestly. All we are trying to do is and this is where we start talking crazy stuff. All we are trying to do is make radiologists 10x more productive in the next 5 years. So they are making baby steps towards that. So Gilberto, I know I sent you a bunch of questions, and we spoke prior to starting the session as well. But one tradition, if I may, is that we ask our co-host to describe what they do as if they are telling a 5-year-old.
Okay.
So I would love for you to describe, Gilberto, and not just the radiology part, but also the other stuff, as if you are telling a 5-year-old. And my team has just reminded me that, yes, for all the attendees, please feel free to ask us any question at any point in time. The idea is for this to be very, very interactive. So do not hesitate. We will prioritize questions over all of our chit chat. So please feel free to ask. But Gilberto, yes, what do you do as if I'm 5?
So I will reply as you're 5 because this is how much English I can speak. So I'm a radiologist. I specialized in pulmonary and cardiac imaging. Also, I coordinate research innovation here at in the radiology department at Albert Einstein Hospital. That said, I'm involved in clinical work. I'm involved in research, and I'm involved in innovation, and that means that I have to deal with AI as well. And I'm not by myself, so I have many colleagues in the clinical work, also in the research and in the innovation/AI. So basically, that's what I do here. It's kind of a varied work. Few days I work more in the clinical side, few days I work more in innovation and research.
Gilberto, when I was 5 years old, I remember. So my dad is a radiologist, as you know. He used to tell me he fixes radios for a living. So
very good. Knowing your father, it's much better.
So Gilberto, tell me, since the title is Unboxing AI, uh, and I know I had sent you some questions, but I will deviate a little bit. Uh, what what is something you have learned about AI over the last, couple of years that you know, did not know earlier, or that is a little unexpected for you? What about AI has surprised you?
Well, many things. Let me give you a bit of backdrop here. I graduated in 93. I did my residency between 94 and 97, 98. So I was used to work in a very different way. And actually, it changed quite a lot from that time. I always say, well, I was very happy on those times where I had the films, and it was like one film for mediastinum, one for lung windows, and suddenly it became 300 images on a screen. And so I think with AI, I was understanding that there would be a new way of working. It's still not a new way of working in the full sense, but what I learned, for example, most of the things that I was wondering, it will give me one answer. It gives actually a probability. And the whole concept of having a probability is quite challenging. It's like it's not intuitive for you to say, well, what does it say? Does it have pneumonia? No, it says a probability, and you adjust the threshold and to understand the threshold. And I think for me, it was interesting because as I was doing research, the whole statistical way of thinking, it was much more palpable. So this is one of the ways I could see that.
So what does that mean for a clinician, Gilberto? Like having a probabilistic output as, because we typically then apply thresholds, right? And that's what Anvisa and FDA and CE also force us to apply thresholds. Like the output cannot be 64.5% probability of pneumonia, right? It has to be plus or minus. But based on your learnings, like how do you see a regular radiologist, like not somebody who is trained in AI or is exposed to AI, but a regular radiologist, do you see them consuming probabilistic outputs, or not?
I think that as long as they are educated, they will. So let me tell you something. This is an interesting story. We just deployed one of those X-ray AI tools and one solution, quite good solution. And then we didn't talk in the best way with our partners at the emergency room. Actually, we did not educate them as much as we should have done. We invested a lot of time in the structure, in the, how long does it take for them to receive the report, but we didn't spend much time speaking about this probabilistic way of receiving results. So there is this guy calling me, you know what? There is this patient. The report said there was a nodule, and I sent the patient to CT. There was no nodule. Who is paying for the CT? And who is talking to the patient? Because this AI solution is saying there is a nodule and it's wrong. So then I said to him, how many times did I lose? How many times did I made it wrong? I'm not 100%, and no solution is going to be 100%. And for me, that at that moment, it was very clear that I didn't communicate as much as I should have done. Meaning, the whole concept of probability and about choosing one threshold and say, okay, we are going to consider above the threshold positive, below the threshold negative, and this is not 100%. So this is the best we believe we are doing, and considering if we want to be sensitive or if we want to be specific. So the whole thing now I'm very, very confident that if I'm deploying something new, a big part of it is explaining. And if we want them to consume, they need to understand in depth, meaning understanding the whole concept about what we say when we are saying it's positive or negative.
I understand because I think training is one of the most underrated aspects of AI deployment, and we ourselves at CARPL maybe need to sharpen ourselves also on the whole training piece, because the problem is we assume a lot about baseline knowledge that somebody else might have, and this is a beautiful example of what felt like a wasted CT scan, right? That that one doctor might see as a rule out, and another doctor might see as a waste of money. So it's that's very interesting. But tell me, Gilberto, have you always been in innovation, like, or did you get into innovation after the AI wave? And like, how have you gotten involved in AI? Like, what is your journey? When did you start? Like, how did you start?
So I think things have evolved here. So I started at Einstein in 2009. I was already a radiologist, cardiothoracic radiologist, and I came here to do the clinical work. And I think because of my background, I started doing a bit of publication, a bit of research, and it started at that time. Einstein, the institution, decided that it would put more focus on education and research, and then they needed more people involved in that. So I started to do a bit more research, and there was the need for someone to organize things. The guy that was here before me, he changed positions. He went to do work with big data, and there was this vacant position, and they were trying to see who could be there, and there were actually not too many people interested in that. And as they saw that I was doing some research, they invited me to work more on that side here. And then the innovation, actually AI came, and it was just before COVID, and everyone was talking about what is that, how are we going to be involved with that. And I think I was in the right position at the right time, and you know things evolved from research and innovation.
And today, like, what percentage of your research is AI?
This is quite interesting because we started to test things, and we started to we believed at the beginning that we would be like building AI algorithms, but it evolved to more testing than building, and it became something big here. We tested, as you know, because it was done in partnership using CARPL most of the times. It became a lot, and then more people started to work with that here. And now I'm doing clinical work half of my time, and the other half is dedicated to research, innovation, and innovation, meaning AI, became bigger than research because it was quite time consuming, and it was an avalanche, many things coming, and we didn't want to miss it.
Interesting, nice. Avalanche of AI. I will use that.
Well,
So, go ahead,
many
please.
solutions, many solutions being offered, and here the thing that I'm really happy and proud about it is that for everything that we test, it has like a research structure. So we have an objective. Why are we doing this? What do we believe that it's going to bring us? How are we going to measure? So it's like every test is like a small research. So
Mm.
in a broader view, it's all research. I'm doing full time is research, the way we think, the way we test, but it's not research to publish. most of it is research to see if we are going to adopt or if we are not going to use it.
And do you have like any interesting story or any interesting insight from all of that testing?
Oh, we made a lot of mistakes. So I think
Like if you were to advise, say, I can see we have lots of radiologists who have joined in as well from different parts of the world. So if you were to, like what is some mistake like folks who are trying to test AI they should avoid?
so to name a few, if you cannot afford for the solution, I think it's not worth it to test it. Because at the end, if it's good, you're going to be frustrated.
Hmm.
And to test, actually, you spend time, and time is money. The company who is providing you the service is spending time and money. And if it's not good, it's not good. If it's good, you're just going to be like, oh my God, I wish I could, but I can't.
Hmm.
So, first of all, and sitting in South America, considering all the currency problems, uh, knowing about the economics, if it's working, it's very important. So I think this is one important thing. And the other thing is that consider how you are going to test and the practical way of testing. So we tested for one solution for hemorrhage, cerebral hemorrhage, to see how it would fasten our reports. But we did that. It was during the COVID pandemic. So all we did was chest
Hmm.
CT. So there was no waiting for reports in the neuroradiology section. So how could we prove that it
Yeah.
would make it faster if we were just online? So sometimes we conceive a test, but we have to understand the practical things related to it. So I think those are two very important things to think about.
That is very interesting. That first being that if you can't buy it, then don't test it, because yeah, both sides are disappointing. And then don't test something that's not maybe clinically relevant at that time. But I guess COVID was a bit of an anomaly. Uh,
Yeah.
Gilberto, we have been lucky to work with you now. I think almost for 1.5, 2 years. You know, with the Pro Adisus project also. I think that is how we got to meet you. Would love for you to share with the audience, like, how has been your experience of working with CARPL? What is some feedback? And you know us, right? We are very transparent in these regards. Like, our way of working is maybe a little less corporate than others. So, how has been your experience, and any feedback that you would have for the team in general would be really cool.
Well, CARPL supported us during all phases of this journey, and it was it was a very important partner. So we didn't know much when we began. Actually, some people knew much more than me. I can talk personally. Uh, but I think I told you before, one day I was able to talk to you and to Vassant, and I was explaining some things that I was considering, and I received one answer that was, okay, let's do it. So first of all, the availability that you showed us, and it was not just talking. After talking, we implemented it. So that was very important to us. And I think this is an important feedback. It's not all the time that you approach someone and some company and they provide you with some things that you need, but you still do not have a budget. So if we started to actually we met some time before the ProAdisus project began, and I think it flourished because we were relating, we did some things together, and that had probably some cost on your side, and that cost was like a free sample. But because of the free sample, we were able to test to see that was good for us. It was the thing that we needed, and then we could move to the next step. So I hope you keep it like that with all your next clients, because this is very important. You make ties. Sometimes you don't know exactly what you're going into, but if you're with someone who can share experience and guide you some way and provide you the tools, I think that actually was our journey with CARPL. So our feedback was very good, and also CARPL was very receptive to some of the things that we think it would be interesting to have this kind of option to do it here. And you were also very available. I don't know if it was the phase in which you were at that time. I hope not. I hope this stays forever. You were very open, which is very interesting for me as a customer.
No, I think Gilberto, to summarize, and we talked about this before also. We fundamentally don't believe we have all the answers to AI deployment. So if we don't listen to people who are actually giving us feedback, then it would be pointless. And I think Brazil for us has also been a surprisingly amazing market. Although like it has some of the world's biggest, most advanced radiology players, and also some of the greatest radiologists. So it's been a pleasure for us to work with. I remember last year, not this year, but last year, JPR, the team came back and they were like, everybody loves us. And it was such a emotionally, emotional high, like emotional trigger that, and we had never met, right? I think then we met at RSNA after that, and we came to know each other. But so that was really, really cool. And I think it's also in line with, I'm glad we are having this discussion because Abhishek, who's from our team, he leads all the AI integration onto the platform, has also asked that very question, that, what do you think are three must-have features for an AI platform? So I think that's just testament to the fact that we don't think we have all the answers. Like, what will radiology AI look like 5 years, 7 years, 10 years from today? I don't think we have the answers. So if we don't listen, how will we build ourselves? But I
But
would love for you to, yeah, go ahead, please.
importantly, I have to tell you, I don't know if it was because you were new in the market, or actually everyone was new in the market at that time. But we approached you, CARPL, I mean, and instead of coming with like, okay, this is how much it's going to cost for you today, like an invoice for next project, it was like, let's do it. And we didn't have budget for that. We didn't have money spared for that kind of initiative. So that was what gave us the possibility of trying, testing, learning. And I think probably many clients would face the same situation. So having the possibility of trying it was what gave us more possibilities. And now we have some AI solutions deployed here just because we tested, because we learned how to use it. We made it wrong sometimes, and now it works. So that's very important. I think that's giving us the opportunity as clients was the most important thing.
Thank you, Gilberto. Thank you. So what are your thoughts on this? What do you think are three features for an AI platform like us that are must-have features? Like if you were to think of the three things that a platform like ours should be doing, what would those be?
So we have varied interests. So I think the way you began as a place where I can build a data set, try something, mine or third party, is very important. So the whole setting of being able to build a data set and testing. More recently, the availability of different solutions many of them not yours, not mine, but being able to test for free, it's very important. So, and now I think that the possibility of doing some kind of monitoring and seeing the performance of what we are doing, because this is something that we are talking, and I talk a lot with Vasant. So how do we keep track on that during time? So this is a third feature that I think most of the people now are very interested in. So we started with one solution. How good is it during time? And is there anything new, cheaper, and better? So I think these are three things that I would expect from someone like CARPL. So all the time, the market is very, very dynamic.
So Gilberto, I'm going to like cross question you a little on this, because so if you were to put on your management hat for 1 second, right? We have been also thinking about ROI from AI, and how do you measure the ROI of the individual apps? Do you think a platform should be taking that ownership also, or should that be on the app developers? Like if you are paying, say, $1 for a fracture detection AI, like did you save money? Did you make money? Those kind of questions. Do you think those should be part of the platform?
I think the platform, if the platform guides the client in a way that I can show you how, because what's my problem? My problem is if I like it, I have to someone who is going to provide me the money. Where are what are we doing better? So usually it's going to be quality, it's going to be productivity. So in some way there is more money being saved, or there is more quality to show. At some point it would be like we are the first with that, but it's not working anymore. Actually, for us didn't work at no moment, but quality and money always work. So if you can guide your client saying, okay, you can show to your administrator that you're saving more money or your quality is becoming higher, you're going to sell better. So I think it's in your interest to help your client. Also, it's in the interest of the client to make it in numbers, so he can show it's not the door that's telling me. It's like I can show you in numbers locally. So this helps a lot.
Got it. Just closing question, Gilberto. We are almost at time. For young radiologists and young engineers out there thinking about the world of radiology AI, what would be your message to them? Why should they come into this field, and what should they be thinking about?
So I think that all of what we do is under transformation, and they cannot be on board. They cannot afford for that decision. So I think someone who is like at the end of their career, okay, more 5 years doesn't make any difference. If they are curious, much better. If not, okay. But for someone who is starting, they cannot afford to be out of this, because everyone who will be on board will be better equipped than them. So I think it's not an option anymore.
Yeah. Not an option. AI is not an option anymore. I think that's a great closing line. Thank you, Gilberto, for joining. It's really an honor, pleasure. I'll be seeing you in person in about 10 days. So very excited about that. And thank you to everybody who joined. Means a lot. See you next week, same time. Thanks, Gilberto. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It was an honor. Thanks a lot.